Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Link Shack. I'm Michael, a language coach and computational linguist, helping people realize their goals in their languages. So, today we're going to be talking about the stative or the had done tense in Tuscarora. This is essentially just your recent past tense, which is essentially just the stem plus the perfective or the stative ending, and that can mean something like he has done something. This is different because in the has done tense, that means that it recently got done, and somebody could just be checking in with you about what happened, or where something is at now, right? They're checking the state of an action, and that action had been done by someone else. Then you would use that tense. In this tense, you would not use that here because this action took place at a further point in time, so further back in time. And so because of this, whenever it's kind of like you're telling someone a story about something that happened, there is a remote past marker. It's kind of like had been done sort of thing. We'll talk about that in the next video on the perfective, but this is for the had done tense. So this marker is basically the same. It's basically the same ending as the ongoing habitual past. So you have the ha from the serial endings or the ongoing habitual endings, and the hook goes at the end of those. So in this case, this does follow the rules. So I would say the habitual past. And so this would be, and I believe this is the further past, because the habitual in its base form, where you're just putting the like the H or something at the end. That's more for, you can use that for something that's going on or something that was going on. So this is like a further habitual past. So it's the same thing for the perfective. So follows the rules of. So this follows the rules of the habitual. So the construction is habitual ending plus hook. And so you have different types of endings. You may have hook. You may use the glottal stop as your ending. You may use at. There's a few different endings for the habitual. So depending on what the verb is using, or if there isn't one, you could probably just put an H at the end of it, or if it's a long vowel, whatever the rule is, you could just apply that rule to this. So normal. So I would say your root or your stem plus the habitual ending plus hook. And so when you go into this now, I want to show you the difference, and I think I may have talked about this in the stative has done video, but let's just cover this here so that you can understand this. So we have the verb yutho. So yutho, and I believe this is an example from Meetoon's grammar. So we will use different verbs here in a minute, but yutho means to plant something. Or you could just say plant. So for the sake of this, we'll just use the example here. So ro. So you could say ro, vowel extended, ro yutho. So ro yutho or ro yutho. Yeah, ro yutho. This by itself, and I believe I'm not sure if I would have to go back and look up what specifically the serial is for this, but Um, my notes for this don't have anything, so I might end up just putting. It might end up just being a glottal stop. But this would mean, royeto means or ruyuto means he has planted. Okay, which is that's not what this is. Okay, versus, and I'll say we have royetho, so royetho. So we have royetho. I'm sorry, I had this would be royuto because the ending is hak. Okay, so royuto hak. He had planted. Okay, so you see the difference between this and this. The only difference is that one ends in the serial, and the other has the full serial ending. Okay, and there is a big difference between these two. You obviously ro can be interchanged with ya, which can be used for it or she. You can use this with, you could do k. So cute, kyotohak, I had planted. You could do the same with sa. Yeah, you could do the same with you could do the same with so. With so yotohak, you had planted. So you can use the different pronouns for whatever ending you need to use for this. So there is that. Now that's pretty much all there is to it. Now what I will say is that when you have a single entity, a single I'm gonna say a single lone entity in the sentence, like I would say, like the example given was like a morbid example, was like he had passed away, because he was the object of the sentence. Like he was what was involved in the sentence, and he was the only person. Like the action happened to him. He would be placed into an object form. So that pronoun or subject is marked as an object. So this ending can vary. It seems to be, I haven't done any research about this in the grammar yet, but it seems that ow, like I'll say a, it seems like ow is the object ending. Not we'll just put not finalized because it's not finalized or confirmed. Yeah, not confirmed. Okay, but this does show up in examples. Like for example, I can tell you that if you're doing kakao means, so you're already gonna know based on the ka that it's a plural group of humans, or kak, and then ow turns this into an object. So this cacao sort of like the cacao plant. Cacao is essentially a plural marker for humans plus that object, or I could say as an object. This owl part is that as an object part. I just got that from an example. And then let's see here. So, in recently done perfective action. So there's also the case. There's also you can also have this yuque. So this might actually be you plus wa, which would be this is the first person we. Oh yeah, the first person we marker, or marker for we, first person marker for we plus an as an object. Okay, so those are just a couple of examples that I have right off the bat. So the example from the book was ra, and then there was rawa. It was like rawaheya. It's like a rawa or ra, and then heya is generally the verb for passing away, but um, oheya, so ra oheya was like he has passed. It's like he has passed away, and so the wa here means that it was an object, that he was the object of that that this verb affected. So so that's just how I've observed this in examples. Now, if we're we can also say, let's see, we can use like other verbs as well. So, for example, there's this one new one I got, uteya, uteya rotsuru, uteya rotsuru means to gather together. And you can use this same thing. So you can say, it wouldn't make sense to say I gathered together. I mean, unless you're gathering together people with you, and then you would have to use you would have to use a plural marker anyway. So you would have like, you could say like noa or nya, but I think noa, yeah. So you could say like, I would assume you could do. I'm not exactly sure of the phonetic rules with noa and nya, but because this is a ooh, we can just try this ooh. So we gathered together. So oot, yeah. Nu or nawayu. So I will have to check this. But we have a nawa and we have uteyaro sru. Uteyarotsuru. And then you add your and then you can add your hawk. So nu uteyarotsuru hawk. That would mean we gathered together. Just call this example with the object marker. General perfective or general stative. That will apply to this as well. We gather together, so nuteya rotsruhak. Okay. Nuteya rotsruhak. Something like this. So we have that, and this is generally how it's going to be. It's pretty simple to put in. You just put your serial plus your serial past ending, your past ongoing ending, and like the further in the past than just saying he had been. He was doing something, and then just know that you need to mark your objects whenever usually when they're the only one. I'm not sure in what all cases this applies to, because gathering together may not require that, but passing away did. So I don't know if it's like for all actions, because there's an object marker for humans, and then there's like also a non-objective one or non-human marker as well. So if the object is like, I've seen sentences where you have the person and you have the pronouns attached and applied for that person, but then you have a non-human object marker because the thing that they're doing something to is inanimate. That's the only thing I can think about that. I would have to look at the example, but I'm sure we're going to be visiting this as we learn more Tuscarora, because there's all kinds of things to talk about, conversation to develop, that I personally want to do conversation sessions and stop to look things up and make sure the sentences are correct, because nobody else is offering speaking sessions. So I actually want to speak. I want to speak this language and like do these recordings in Tuscarora. I think that would be lovely. But anyway, that is all I have today. If you're interested in language classes or language lessons like this, obviously tailored to you, your group, your organization, whatever you need, whether you're a heritage speaker, whether you're somebody that's just learning for fun, a conlanger that wants to bring like a Star Wars language or something back to life, or any type of language need, even if you're somebody that's like trying to learn a rare language and you've just ran out of steam and you don't know what to do. I'm a linguist. I've been in all these situations. I can help. Just contact me on linkcheck.club, book a consultation, or you can email me at linguacheck@gmail.com. All right, everyone. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.